On the first day of December, JIS gave to you a magazine with wise financial treats. So that's not the rendition that you're used to. It perhaps should have come with more of a tune, but I hope it worked. Did it? Anyway, today's magazine opens to a new month and the season of festivities, Christmas. We want to get you started right with some financial tips and advice, plus ways to foster good mental health amidst all the things that don't feel so right. I'm Theodore Henry. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'll meet you back here after the day's news.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, December 1. Cabinet has approved 383 additional primary schools for the next phase of face-to-face learning. These are larger primary schools, which account for approximately 164,651 students. Education Minister Favour Williams says schools are required to work with parents to determine the startup date, given the preparation that may be required. Minister Williams was giving an update in the House of Representatives on Tuesday.
These larger primary schools must use the blended approach, which is the online and the face-to-face. They must use a rotational schedule given their capacity and enrollment, meaning some students will be in the face-to-face environment on one day, let's say Monday, while others are at home, and then those who are at home would rotate and come into the face-to-face environment. In any 1 week, students must be at school for at least 2 days out of the week. These schools must also be inspected and approved as COVID-19 compliant by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Meanwhile, secondary schools with 65% of students who are fully vaccinated are allowed to have in-person classes. Minister Williams says outdoor classroom facilities will be provided and schools are encouraged to stagger lunch and period breaks with students eating in their classrooms instead of cafeterias. Since the resumption of face-to-face classes on November 8, average attendance was over 40,000 students. The Education Minister says during that time there were 5 cases of COVID-19 infection among students and 2 suspected cases among teachers. These, she indicated, were managed according to the required protocols. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke has announced a new 9-member board of directors for the Clarendon Alumina Production Limited, CAP. Professor Gordon Shirley, who has experience as a mechanical engineer in the bauxite industry, will chair the new board. While speaking in Parliament yesterday, Dr. Clarke says the new board has been tasked with ensuring that the incorporation process is completed successfully so Jamaicans can benefit.
Since the emergence of the bauxite industry in the 1960s, no Jamaican, to the best of my knowledge, has ever had a direct economic interest in an alumina bauxite plant in Jamaica. This government will change that. Jamaicans will have the opportunity to directly own a piece of a major industrial asset operating in our bauxite alumina industry. This vision is within reach, Madam Speaker.
Minister Clarke took over portfolio responsibility for CAP after the entity was recently transferred from the mining ministry. The government of Jamaica holds its 45% interest in the Jamaica refinery through CAP. Jamaica is being transformed to incorporated status, which would then allow government to take its 45% stake to the public on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has announced plans to acquire a second genome sequencing machine to test for COVID-19 variants. It will complement the first genome sequencer acquired in late October at a cost of $40 million. In Parliament Tuesday, Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton said the machine would be procured through lease funding from the U.S. Center for Disease Control. Construction work has started at the National Public Health Laboratory to accommodate the second genome sequencer.
Currently, we are finalizing, Madam Speaker, training dates with the manufacturer and selecting the samples that will be used during the training period. There is a global demand for the training and the experts who are limited for commissioning this type of machine. And the reports I have from the University Hospital of the West Indies coordinating with the ministry's personnel is that, in a sense, we're in a queue. But we do expect that those personnel will come in, hopefully over the next week or so, for training to take place, and all is set for the testing and for the personnel, so we can go right into it, even as we build out to acquire a second machine in the months to come.
In the meantime, Minister Tufton says the island is monitoring the emergence of the Omicron COVID-19 variant, which is now confirmed in 19 countries across the 4 regions of the world. As a precautionary measure, Jamaica has imposed travel restrictions on 8 countries in southern Africa. Only Jamaican nationals and permanent residents traveling from these countries will be allowed entry onto the island, but under the condition of 14 days state-supervised quarantine and mandatory testing. At the same time, the health minister is reporting that the country is at a manageable state of the 3rd wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Tufton says the island's weekly positivity rate continues to decline, with the 7-day average currently at 7%.
It is not below the 5% we want to be, but the trend, Madam Speaker, is moving in the right direction. Yesterday's positivity rate was 3.3%, which is a very good look and a good outlook if this trajectory continues. Madam Speaker, most of the COVID-19 indicators are pointing in the right direction. The level of geographic spread of the virus is at a medium level, with just over 25% of communities across the island being affected with new cases.
On November 29, there were 27 new confirmed COVID-19 cases and 1 death. The health minister says the COVID-19 bed occupancy rate, which is over 300 of the 700 beds, is being monitored. Dr. Tufton is praising healthcare workers for their heroic service in the ongoing global crisis, while encouraging Jamaicans to take the available vaccines so the country can return to normal. The island's inoculation rate is at 18% of the population. And finally, Jamaicans 48 years and older can again access the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine. The Ministry of Health and Wellness says the measure takes effect today. Jamaicans are being urged to book appointments at www.moh.gov.jm or by calling the National Vaccination Call Center at 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. On the day of the appointment, persons are reminded to take a government-issued or school ID or a letter from a justice of the peace. The ministry also continues to administer the AstraZeneca and the Johnson & Johnson vaccines to persons 18 years and older. And at schools through the Ministry of Education, the Pfizer vaccine is being given to children 12 years and older. Up to November 30, just over 1.1 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines were administered. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
For those of us who do not believe that COVID is real and that it is here, have you been to one of those hospitals where the wards are overflowing with patients who are trying to breathe and talk at the same time, but find it so impossible to do so? Or have you seen someone die in front of you, trying to make the next breath to stay alive? So my fellow Jamaicans and colleagues, whether you believe it or not, COVID is real. So I implore you, social distance. Wash your hands, wear your mask, sanitize. Along with that, we need to keep our immune system nice and healthy, so you drink lots of water, eat your fruits and vegetables. But whether we believe it or not, COVID is here, it is here to stay, it's going to be the new norm. And remember, when you behave irresponsible, you expose all of us. So do the responsible thing.
If it's one thing that Christmas has become synonymous with, it's exuberant spending. We're busy gifting everyone and buying all those new things we think we need for the house. But what if I tell you all your gift buying can be done on a budget and doesn't have to be tangible items? I leave the experts to tell you how.
Oh, hi everyone. I'm Shaquille Hines, media practitioner, and I've been doing this for All right, so that's not the most important figure here. Rather, my favorite time of the year is coming up, Christmas. And of course, there's a whole lot of spending and splurging that is often associated with the period. What I'm really trying to say is that I am no financial expert, but like you, I am concerned about how we can all save a dime or two while making every cent count. Besides, if we've learned anything over the past few months, it's that the biggest certainty in life is uncertainty. These are uncertainties that you may need to save for. So I decided to meet with the experts for their 2 cents on how we can all pinch the penny this Christmas.
Thanks, Shaquille. I'm Michelle. I'm the financial expert, and I love Christmas, the fun, the frolic, the friends, but we gotta do it on a budget. So today I'm gonna give you some tips as to how to do exactly that. Thank you so much are the words we want to hear when we give a gift. But how do we spread love and good cheer to those that we hold dear and still have money left over for next year? So therefore, it means that we need to have a lot of creativity added in, tubs of energy, and then a lot of love. So today I'm going to take you through 3 questions you need to ask yourself in making sure that you get the right gift for the right person, and take you through how the love languages will help you to gift the special gift to those that you love. So the 3 questions are: 1, what's the max I can spend? 2, to whom must I give a gift? And 3, what is their love language? So 1, what's the max that I can give? Listen, essential expenses are exactly that, essential. So therefore, in terms of credit card payments, whatever other loan payments, your utilities, etc., they are still essential. So those things must be covered first. How much money do you have after all of that? That is your budget for this Christmas. Number 2, to whom should you give a gift? To all the people who have done some fabulous things for you this year. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use the 5 love languages. And guess what? 4 of them require no spending at all. The 5 love languages are touch, time, affirmation, service, and gifts.
Interesting, but Michelle, how exactly do I translate those 5 love languages into actual Christmas gifts?
So touch, these people love your physical touch. So what could you give them? You could probably do up a gift certificate for a massage, a foot rub. What else can you think of? Time, these people need quality time with you, so why not give that to them? And you know, this may be something really great for grandparents. So how about doing up a coupon that says me and you? For X number of hours in the day, you choose the date. So affirmation, your words of affirmation, your words telling them all that they mean to you. So how about making a card or purchasing a card, but you write in your own special words? Acts of service, this is doing something specific for that individual, something that really means a lot to them. So how about the couple that you love who have a little one? How about making a coupon to say, hey, for one night I'll babysit while you do something romantic together. So now that we've covered the 4 that do not require any money at all, now let's look at the one that can require a little bit of money, and that one is gift giving. But make it special. What people want are good memories to say, wow, I got this from this person and they really thought about me.
Thanks, Michelle. Sounds pretty simple and cost-effective, right? Well, as you think about who you give your time, your affirmation, acts of service, or just your physical gifts this Christmas, there are some other things you could consider doing to have a frugal yet fun Christmas. But also bear in mind that this time around, things may look a little different.
Well, Christmas this year is going to be different, eh? A lot of people have lost their jobs, number 1. Number 2 is still in a COVID environment, which means that you're not going to be able to be having large gatherings. It's going to be a little more toned down now because of those 2 things. But the truth is that you still can enjoy what the real meaning of Christmas is. And I think this has given us the opportunity to get back to the real meaning of Christmas. So it's about spending time with family and friends, but you can still have that family dinner. And to cut down on the amount of money, maybe one person will host it, but persons come together, you know, and provide the meal. Always remember also that you can't spend more than what you have, and the truth is that it's not really just about the gifts, but the act of giving. So you can do things. You can make gifts, for example. If someone is a creative person, you know, you can make gifts. You can give things that don't really cost a lot, but it still has a very sentimental attachment to it. Children expect a lot. So you need to start having a conversation with children from now and say, listen, this Christmas we're not going to be able to give you what you're used to, and explain that to them. So you have to have that sort of conversation. Pick your gifts very carefully. So, you know, a lot of people give gifts just willingly to people they don't even know, just acquaintances with. You might have to choose your circle, your closer circle that you want to give gifts to. One of the things I do, for example, is I always buy my Christmas gifts like October, November, because people know that people get caught up and spend a lot during that time. They tend to raise prices closer to Christmas because people just spend without checking prices. You also are not going to be spending a lot of money on entertainment again. So look at that also. One of the things that COVID has done is move entertainment to a cheaper option, which is online. So why not have Zoom parties, for example, you know, online parties, in terms of connecting with people overseas, you know. You're not going to be making that trip anymore, so you can connect with people from overseas online. So those are some of the things that you can do. You know, stay at home, you cut down on a lot of expenses. If you do all of that, you can still have a very enjoyable Christmas, and at the same time, you're not spending the amount of money that you normally spend.
So we get the 12 days of Christmas, and what your true love gave to you last Christmas, or simply wanting to be the Santa Claus that's coming to town. But let's not forget to be frugal in it all. So as you plan for the season, consider ways to pinch your penny and make every cent count. Happy holidays.
What people want are good memories to say, wow, I got this from this person and they really thought about me. So how about looking for some pictures that you have of you and that special person and packaging it nicely, or putting it in a picture frame? That could make a really nice gift. Or think about what is their financial goal that they're trying to save towards. And it may be that you put a nice little card and say, hey, I'm contributing towards X because I know it means the world to you. Or look around the home. What is it that they really want? It could be something as simple as lovely pillows for a woman, right? And you may buy her a set of pillows. Look for something that means the world to that person. It doesn't have to cost a whole lot of money. It just has to show that you've put in a whole lot of heart.
We continue on the matter of finance. Of course, your money is important to you, but technology and modernization is expanding and perhaps improving the forms in which we use money. Digital currency is one of those big topics globally, and its use in Jamaica seems quite inevitable. Here's more about its rollout here.
Digital currency. What is it? How do you spend it? Is it the future of money? The Bank of Jamaica BOJ minted Jamaica's first batch of central bank digital currency CBDC. A total of 230 million Jamaican dollars in CBDC will be issued to deposit-taking institutions and authorized payment service providers during the CBDC pilot exercise, which ends in December. What does this mean? Hello, I'm Daniel Pastley, and welcome to Finance Matters. In today's episode, I'll be speaking to Mrs. Natalie Haynes, Deputy Governor of Bank of Jamaica, who will help us to get a better understanding of digital currency and how it fits into Jamaica's overarching economic plans for the future. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the Ministry of Finance on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to see all the episodes and highlights. Welcome, Mrs. Haynes, for coming on the program.
Thank you, Daniel. Happy to be here, and good day to your viewers.
Now, let's get right into it. What does digital currency mean?
Okay, so central bank digital currency is basically currency issued by the central bank in electronic or what we call digital form. So it works just like your physical banknotes and coins, but it exists in digital form. So 230 million was minted.
And when you mean minted, you mean what exactly?
Produced.
Oh, okay.
It's produced. Just as how you say you print banknotes or you mint coins, you mint digital currency. So 230 million Jamaican dollars was minted in August, and we have not yet issued that to deposit-taking institutions or authorized payment service providers. That will be done later on this month.
All right, so how will it be allocated to various sectors? Will it be done on a face-to-face basis?
Right, so I can't tell you the sectors. I can tell you the institutions.
No problem.
It will go for the pilot. The institution that's in the pilot now is National Commercial Bank. And there are more commercial banks that will join before December. So we issue as they order. They determine what they want and they place their order, and we will issue that to them for distribution now to their customers.
So that's basically how the average citizen will be able to access the digital currency then?
Exactly. So anyone can access digital currency. You don't even need to have a bank account now. What you do, you go to a commercial bank or an authorized payment service provider and indicate your interest. And of course, the information that you would need to provide is very simplified under the Know Your Customer requirements, which would include your name, address, date of birth, TRN, and a valid government-issued identification.
For some persons, they may be hearing digital currency and they might, mix it up with cryptocurrency or blockchain technology. How is it different from all those?
All right. So cryptocurrency is different from central bank digital currency because cryptocurrency is not backed by a central authority.
Okay.
CBDC is backed by the central bank, in this case, Bank of Jamaica. Blockchain is a type of technology that persons can use for either cryptocurrency or CBDC. But Bank of Jamaica will not be using that technology.
And how will digital currency help Jamaica to become more prosperous, so to speak?
Okay. So, on many factors. So we are all aware of the government's thrust for digital transformation of the entire economy. So this is just our part that the central bank is playing there. But the key focus that we're looking at is financial inclusion.
Ooh.
Yes.
Financial inclusion, that sounds like a very high-level type of term.
Not really. It's just there are many persons in Jamaica that are unbanked.
Right.
Or what we call underbanked. Underbanked means you have banking services, but limited, and you are hardly using it for whatever reason. So we are trying to target those persons in the first instance to come into the formal financial system.
Okay.
Right? And by enhancing financial inclusion, more persons have access to financial services.
And how can we find out some more information about digital currency?
Okay, so I'm actually working with my communications team on a dedicated page on our website, but there's still information on there And you can just go on the website, put in CBDC in the search, and the information that we have currently on the website will come up.
Thank you, Mrs. Haynes, for sharing some pertinent information about central bank digital currency.
Thank you for having me, Daniel. It was my pleasure.
And thank you for joining us on Finance Matters. Remember, you can follow us on social media at MOF Jamaica. Tune in next week as we continue to demystify the economic and fiscal policies and initiatives implemented by the government to empower Jamaicans as we chart a path to Jamaica's economic prosperity.
To properly carry out a hand rub, apply a palmful of the product in your cupped hand, covering all surfaces. Rub your hands palm to palm. Rub your right palm over the back of your left hand with interlaced fingers and vice versa. Rub your hands palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked. Rotationally rub backwards and forwards the clasped fingers of your right hand in your left palm and vice versa. Once your hands are dry, they are now safe.
We did say we want to help you start the Yuletide season the right way. So here it is. Before you finalize your all things Christmas list, here are some tips on how to prevent waste. Grab your notepads or your devices and jot these down. Here goes. Number 1, purchase e-cards. Electronic Christmas cards can work well. There are plenty of ways and avenues online where you can get these or make them yourself. Besides, think of all the trees we could save this Christmas. Number 2, use recyclable gift wrapping. Instead of grabbing for the fancy paper, how about going for the traditional brown paper wrappers? You could add some colors and make it look fancy. You could even try reusing gift bags as a substitute. Number 3, use LED lighting. If you're lighting a tree or decorating your house this Christmas, you could think about switching to LED lights. They will last much longer and use far less energy. However, remember to only turn them on when you need to. Think about it. If we practice these methods, among others, even beyond the Christmas season, we can all help to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. You've just seen and heard about 30 minutes of solid tips and information to help fuel your December journey. But just in case you missed any of it, a refresher of today's journey can be had through the JIS's YouTube channel. There, you'll also get the chance to see other shows, newscasts, and features, so watch away. Also, visit the JIS's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more information. From all of us here at the JIS, happy 1st of December. I'm Theodore Henry. See you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.